really quickly. We're waiting for Mr. Bradford to come forward here. Ladies and gentlemen, William Bradford. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is J.C. Reedy, and I'm going to be your MC tonight. We're going to move through this, and we're going to honor a gentleman who's now had 50 years producing high school theater in the city of Louisville, Kentucky. That deserves a round of applause. People from all over the country have sent in video clips, messages, texts, emails, letters, scripts, all kinds of things to read tonight. Our first script is 112 pages. It will, no, just kidding. But Billy, tell me about St. Augustine. What is that?
Where I went to grade school and I loved it.
Billy went to grade school at St. Augustine. He says he loved it. Class of, oh, it's Augustine. I'm sorry, St. Augustine. I can't read. Obviously, Billy did not teach me. Class of 1956, I had a letter here that says, Billy, your life is like a great musical. You wrote the script, you created the lyrics, you own the stage. We are all grateful to have a role in the production. May your boundless energy continue to bathe the world in your creativity and your charm. Edna Mulligan Davis. At this point, I would like to also thank Greg Seisel, sitting right here in the center, for the video he put together. Some of you will see your video clips up here on the screen, but Billy will receive a DVD or several DVDs of the complete unedited version. Yeah, some of them we couldn't put up. You know that if you know Billy. All right, so he'll get the complete version. You've seen clips tonight. We'll be running this again at the end. So thank you, Greg, for doing that. I'd also like to publicly thank Trinity High School for the use of the facility and for putting on this lovely soiree. At this time, I'm going to bring to the stage the president of Trinity High School, Dr. Mullen. Please come up.
JC. On the program it says 1 minute. It ain't gonna be 1 minute. Thank you, JC, for emceeing. Why don't we start this way? Just from your place, if you would. Billy, if you would stand up, face them. It's really nice to boss him around. Let's start with a prayer. If you would, just extend your hand for a blessing on Billy. Not you. Dear God, thank you for Billy Bradford. Thank you for the impact he's had in each of our lives, for the example he's given, for the call he's given to each of us. Bless him in these days. Help him enjoy this evening and carry with him forever from this night our unending love. We ask all these things through your Son who lives with you in the Spirit as Trinity, now and forever. Amen. Amen. On behalf of Trinity, including our principal Dan Zoller, who is here, and all of our colleagues, we welcome you to this evening. Are you ready for this? Oh, yeah. I'll get back to you later, okay? There's some people we have to acknowledge. If they would stand their place. Joey Durbin, Greg Seisel, J.C. Reedy, John Zender, Molly Wolfram, Lana Brown, Joyce Reed, Janet Muller, and Jean Pacifian. Give these folks a big round of applause. put this evening together. Also want to acknowledge someone, I'm not going to tell you who it is. There's a couple who has an affection for Billy, and they underwrote this evening. They wanted this to happen, and they wanted it to be done in a first-class Billy Bradford way. So let's, without knowing who they are, let's give them a round of applause. Billy, a call went out, and people heard that we wanted to celebrate you, and people just came out of the woodwork to say, I want to have a part of this. It sort of reminded me, probably one of your favorite movies of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. You probably really liked that, didn't you? You didn't like that, did you? But that's sort of what it is. You're our George Bailey, and if anything can happen to make this evening special, people said, I want to do it. A few of my remarks. If you look on the internet, there's actually a website now that says Billy Bradford is the best. .theater. You can look at it. And all kinds of people have added things to it. And in one particular thread, somebody said, what's a great descriptive word for Billy? And the most chosen word on that website is persnickety. True. One of the things I really enjoyed about working on this was getting to meet these people who have known him all his life. And I just thought it was me, but it's really evident. Billy has been persnickety all his life. I know this because in 1974, I became one of his students. When I returned here to work, became one of his teaching colleagues, and then a few years ago became his boss. In all of those roles, I had no control whatsoever over Billy Bradford. Sophomore year, we had to learn the first 14 lines of the Canterbury Tales. Why? None of us knew, but we had to. In those days, we had PE, freshman and sophomore year. He denies it, but every one of my classmates will testify. When we would walk in the room after PE, we would be sprayed with Lysol. Jimmy Frame, true? It's true. Thank you. As a boss, Billy and I would meet once a spring after the musical was over. I thought it was to thank the school for all the great support we provided. Instead, it became a list of demands. I need this, you have to do that, blah, blah, blah. Meekly, once a year I would say, have you thought about the shows for next year yet? I'm thinking about it. Okay. I said, you know what would be really neat? Let's roll out some hay bales and get a Surrey. Let's do Oklahoma. What do you think? Oh no, can't do Oklahoma. Well, you might know that Kate Reedy is succeeding Billy, and we're actually going to do Oklahoma twice next year. We're going to do it in the fall, and we're going to do it in the spring. In the spring, we're going to do it in a new style. It's going to be done in mute. It'll be all hand signals. So come and enjoy it, Billy. We'll really like to see you. My 1 minute is almost up. Billy, your work has formed our intellect. It's touched each of our senses, and it's touched our hearts. Here's my moment of that. My favorite play of all the ones that Billy has done is Man of La Mancha. And here's why. It was about a year after my dad died. And I guess because of the anniversary of the death, a lot of emotions were churning. And as I sat through that production, I think I cried through the entire thing. Performances were great. The representation of the story was great, but it was just that, it was just the timing and the story and so forth. And so I started thinking, that's just one little example of how his craft not only touched my life, but all of our lives and all of those who are sharing their greetings and all those who wish they could be here to do that. Your work has formed our intellect, it's touched our senses, it's touched our heart. What a great gift to be able to do that for a life, and what a great gift we've received from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mullen. This time I'd like to bring to the stage, many of you don't know this, before Billy was at Trinity, he was at a little school out in the South Side, up by Shapley, called Bishop David High School. One of the first plays he did was The Fantastics, right? Early on, all right, very early. Well, we have one of the performers from The Fantastics. I'd like to bring to the stage right now very quickly, John Barry. John was a 1970 graduate of Bishop David. In the Fantastics, he played El Gallo. He has been the basketball coach at Trinity. He did The Tempest with Billy at Bishop David. John's been a lawyer for 40 years. He's had 3 sons, all go through Trinity, 1 in drama with Billy. So ladies and gentlemen, John Barry.
I'm at Bishop David High School on Dixie Highway, and I walk into this classroom, and I'm a sophomore. And here comes this teacher, big-chested guy, cufflinks, monogram shirt, and a black gentleman. And we're all looking around like, what in the world is this? What's going on here? And it's English literature, okay? Now, this class, Jim Boer's here, and John Wheatley's here, it was so fantastic because we studied every author from every period, and he got into their heads, into their minds, and he taught us how to think. He taught us how to develop an opinion. But anyway, he put us on this bus, and we're riding downtown. I'll never forget this. This old yellow school bus. We're pulled up in front of Actors Theater of Louisville. So we all go in, we sit down, and lo and behold, Billy Bradford is performing in Robert Penn Warren's All the King's Men. I mean, I'm going, oh my God. I go home and tell my mom and dad, I'm being taught by a professional actor. I mean, this guy was on stage and his presence was off the chart. So we go through the years. I went on my way, Billy went his way, and I get a call to come back here in 1981. When they open the theater, we're going to redo the Fantastics. Jim Bohr comes in from New York. Billy is Mortimer, and he brings the house down. Ted Sands is Henry, the old actor. Mike Hamilton was one of the fathers. And it was just an amazing, amazing experience. But I want to say this about Billy Bradford. To walk into Dixie Highway in 1967 to that school and to have an attitude of, I am here, you're going to learn, and you're going to all be somebody someday. He taught me how to stand up and say what I thought in a respectful manner. And he taught me that no matter what that battle was, La Man and La Mancha, that I could always overcome any obstacle that I encountered in my life. He taught me how to get on my feet, and as a lawyer, and I did some later productions, it was Billy Bradford who made me much of what I am today. So I want to thank him. He doesn't understand how many lives he affected out there on Dixie Highway back in those days, but there is just nothing about Billy that doesn't stand up and say, you can do this. Thank you, Billy.
And thank you, John. At this time, we've got a special presentation. I'd like to bring up to the podium Mayor Greg Fisher. Mayor, please come up.
Well, thank you. It's so wonderful to be here tonight. I too was called when I saw the notice about the honorary event here for Mr. Bradford. That's what I called him when I was a sophomore at Trinity High School. Could you imagine being taught English by Ted Sands and then Billy Bradford? And you guys both said the same thing. You will be a good writer by the time you're done with this class. And I really appreciated that. I would not be where I am today were it not for your insistence, your discipline, and your very peculiar nature. I say that because it takes a certain presence to really teach young guys at Trinity High School, so I would have been 15 or 16 back then, how to have joy. You know, that's not an age where a lot of teenage boys are really able to experience joy, and especially joy in the classroom. And as we just heard, you brought that every day. And you also brought that Lysol can to our class too. I'm a year older than Rob Muller. I had forgotten about that, and there was a scar that I had in my life getting those back. Yeah, we'll just move on from that. But it's been really interesting because in the role I have now with the city, it's been so beautiful to see you around the city. Because I knew you were famous, but I didn't realize how many lives that you touched around this city. And when you're there and people see us talking to each other, they'll come up and say, do you know Billy Bradford? And I'll talk about that. And they say that in a reverential manner, which is a real blessing. Well, not many people get to go through life and touch as many people that you've touched in such a positive and inspirational and uplifting way. Normally, at events like this, the person that's being honored is quite shy and doesn't like the attention. And he's just sitting up here just drinking this. It's like, yeah, is that all you're going to say? But you're a good man, and you've helped so many people. And the last thing he said to me 5 minutes ago before we sat down is, let me know how I can help the city. And this is the kind of guy that we got here. So you'll be getting that call. So I'm here on behalf of all the citizens of Louisville to honor William P. Bradford on his retirement after a monumental career in theater arts education. Over 50 years, Billy Bradford has taught and influenced countless Louisville students in theater, English, and more at Trinity High School, Youth Performing Arts School, and Bishop David High School. Through dozens of productions, he's imparted the joys of theater, as well as the hard work and dedication required. A trailblazer and accomplished actor, Mr. Bradford's influence over his charges will never exit the stage. Our city thanks this accomplished educator for all he's done for Louisville's youth. I hereby proclaim this William P. Bradford Day in Louisville, Kentucky.
Thank you very much. At this time, we'd like to bring on board, onto the stage, a 1973 Trinity graduate currently living in Philadelphia, Mr. Wade Lee. Wade, you back there? Excellent.
Yes, hello everyone. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that it's 3 for 3 on the Lysol can. It is what it is. But I'm sorry, a little closer. Okay, all right. Obviously, I don't do this for a living. But I was in the first play in 1973 that Mr. Bradford directed at Trinity. Not his first play ever, but the first one at Trinity. And I had an interesting role. I got to play Death. And that's the coolest role that you can have, play Death. And if you're going to play Death, there's only one way to do it. You have to bring out the inner James Earl Jones. So here is a quick excerpt before I go into the other things I'm going to say. Pride and see, I think you'll find you can. One wall is like another in regarding your insufficient mood. The important thing is that you speak the lines and make the gestures. I never get tired of saying that. I look for reasons to say that to my kids. But back in 1973, I probably more than anyone understood what Mr. Bradford faced when he walked into Trinity. And I wanted to thank him for his persistence, for setting a phenomenal example to people like me who didn't look like everybody else at Trinity at the time. Just as a matter of record, I think I was the only Asian in the school from 1971 to 1973. So he was a phenomenal role model as far as that goes. I wanted to thank him for his dedication to the craft, his dedication to the kids, and I came here mainly to say that, again, as a grad from 1973, from that era, Trinity was a better place, a stronger place, the day that Mr. Bradford set foot on campus, and for 100 different reasons. And I just believed then, and I believe now, that Trinity needed Mr. Bradford more than Mr. Bradford needed Trinity. So, thank you. Total respect. I love you, man.
Our next performer this evening is a lady who's currently working for the Jefferson County Public Schools. She's teaching dance at No Middle School. She also is the first person to institute actually musicals, probably in the last 10 years, at No Middle School. Her name is Julie Dingman Evans. She's coming up the wrong side, but that's all right. Julie's done several things here for at Trinity with Billy. Forum, Oliver, Damn Yankees, and from her performance here, she had a national tour of Damn Yankees, an international tour of Greece where she played Rizzo, and she's on the original cast album of Shout, if you happen to have that. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely, charming, and one of the hottest numbers I ever saw in a high school musical from Damn Yankees, Julie Dingman Evans.
Shocking, but now, Bradford, because my whole life in theater began with your casting me as Panacea, and a funny thing happened on the way to the forum and putting me in that shell bikini that my mother was so upset about at 14. And casting me with my brother and Oliver, and then I just know you have no idea how many ships you've sailed for people, and just thank you, Captain. Yeah.
But that was Anything Goes, yes. It kind of sounded like when she did Damn Yankees here at Trinity, one of the hottest musical numbers, whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Julie Dingman ate it up. It was amazing. John, I'm not going to sing it, I'm sorry. All right, we're going to kick it now to the video. We've got some friends who could not be with us tonight, and some people who actually have left some video comments for Billy. So we're going to kick it up to the video screen right now for some video.
Hey, Billy. I want to say congratulations on your retirement. Let's hope this one sticks. But let us all hope that we have the energy, the tenacity, and the passion that you do to continue working as long as you have.
There's no business like show business, like
Hey there, Billy Bradford, it's me. You know, I started you on this path in 1947 when you were 5 and I was a younger woman at 4. Just wonderful years going by and many more years to come. I love you.
Hey, Billy. I want to say congratulations on your retirement. Let's hope this one sticks, but let us all hope that we have the energy, the tenacity, and the passion that you do to continue working as long as you have. All the best. Love you.
You did way more than teach. You demanded respect from your students. And while I know you taught them volumes, that may have been one of the most important things you taught them was respect. Mike still talks about you today. That's the impact of an amazing teacher. Thank you, Billy Bradford.
Well, Mr. Bradford, all the greatness of the stage can be directly traced to your love for your students and your audiences, and our love and appreciation for you and what you've given us. Thank you, sir. Congratulations.
Hi, Billy. We're all here to honor you for your retirement. I'm passing on what I learned from you to my scene study students from the homeschool co-op. Congratulations, Mr. Bradford.
I fell in love with theater, and subsequently with a lot of girls who also fell in love with theater because of you. You taught me how to be a strong young man. You taught me diction. I want to thank you for everything. You are in my heart, you are in my head every day, and you deserve every accolade that is given to you.
You taught me how to be even funnier than I thought I was. And congratulations on your retirement.
Congratulations on this wonderful occasion. We've come a long way from that little kindergarten class at Virginia Avenue School. Congratulations and best wishes.
Billy, thank you for giving me the guidance and the confidence to have a life in the theater, which is all I ever wanted. Thank you.
And that's what all your students love about you, is that you set a high bar and do not take no for an answer, and you set a level that people need to reach for, which is something that I think all students need and appreciate. Even if they don't in the moment, they will later on.
Haven't you retired a couple times already before? Like a superstar athlete, man. You retire, then you look up and you're back on stage again.
You've changed my life for the better in so many ways, and I have tremendously fond memories of you at YPAS and working with you at Trinity. And thank you for helping to introduce me to a couple of my high school boyfriends.
I feel so overwhelmingly blessed blessed to have had you as a director, a teacher, and as a mentor. You are undoubtedly one of the smartest and wisest men I've ever known.
I absolutely would not be the person that I am today if it were not for you. Again, congratulations, Billy. You're amazing.
It was a blessing to have you as a teacher. You were always challenging me, always giving me notes for improvement, always giving me new resources to read and watch. Those lessons that you taught me of accuracy and hard work and quality, those are all lessons that I apply now to my everyday life. So I just want to say thank you, and I love you, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you for everything that you've done and have taught me about the theater and being on stages. Congratulations on your retirement. I hope it's awesome.
Congratulations, Billy. Thank you so much for everything that you have done through the many, many decades for me and for so many other hundreds, probably thousands of students.
But he was an absolute tour de force when he came to Trinity. I mean, he just commanded respect when he walked into a room, and his eyes would burn through you, into your back of your skull and into your soul. The moment he walked down the hall, it was a better place. He did it with style, he did it with dignity, he did it with grace, he did it by demanding perfection. So, Mr. Bradford, I wish you well. Total respect for all you've accomplished, and I love you, man. Thanks.
Billy, congratulations on your retirement, and thanks for your contributions to this community. I only wish the best for you in the future.
Congratulations on the legacy that you've given to the American theater and beyond. And you taught us about responsibility, you taught us about respect, you taught us about timing, and you taught us about how to have passion for what we do. And I can promise you that none of us use the word get. My pool in Los Angeles with your name on it. You're welcome anytime. Just call first.
Dear Mr. Bradford, we just wanted to say thank you for being our teacher, our mentor. We learned so much from you, both on stage and off at our time at Trinity. Thank you.
I wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you've given your students over the years. You've really changed our lives. You saw abilities in me that I would never have seen in myself, and you've given us a love of theater that we will always carry with us, no matter what.
You were very popular. And one of the reasons why you were popular was that you were a storyteller. Congratulations on your honors, your super career, and I wish you all the best in the coming years.
Hey, Billy. Happy time,
And all I can say is thank you from the bottom of my heart and all of our hearts for your generosity, for your mind, for your knowledge, and for your love. And we love you, and Trinity will not be the same without you.
Thank you for 45 years in the educational system and for the years that you spent in Trinity High School Theater. It was an honor and a pleasure to work with you. Good luck in any and everything you do during your retirement.
Mr. Bradford, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all you have given me and taught me through the years, and I would not be the same person without you. Congratulations and love you bunches.
Mr. Bradford's more than just an amazing director. He's a mentor, he's a teacher, and quite frankly, he's one of the clearest examples of a man of faith and a man of character that I've ever had the pleasure to get to know here at Trinity.
But still you wouldn't change it for a sack of gold. Let's go on with
the show, a 2007 graduate of the Youth Performing Arts School, currently performing in beautiful. She'll actually be performing here in Louisville. The show comes to Louisville next weekend. The lovely, the charming Miss Elena Mills. Chad Zimlick. Chad had the honor of being in all 8 Bradford productions. He's now a lawyer staff attorney with Chief Judge Philip Shepard. You guys ready? Sure. Let's rock and roll.
Gazing down on the Jungfrau
in our secret chalet for two.
Let us drink Liebchen wine
in the moonlight delight to the joy of our dream come true.
All right, at this time, Dr. Seisel, it's you and I think. Billy, you're going to have to move here on this a little bit because follow Greg, if you would, please. Okay, this is the narrative for what we're about to do. We'd like to acknowledge an artist that resides in Orlando. He's a native of Louisville and a proud 1977 Trinity alum. Jeff Thompson, generosity is exceeded only by his artistic talent. It's not unusual to find Jeff's work magically appearing at your doorstep. He often creates portraits of lost family members, ailing friends, or beloved pets as a gesture of his friendship. Tonight, we are graced with another example of his wonderful talent. We're going to show you this just a second. I'll leave this here for you, Mr. Bradford. I'm going to work on this side. Jeff, are you here? Come on up. Wow, that is very good, folks. A wonderful job, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much again. Got a photo op? Let's get a photo op here. Question was asked, where is this painting going to hang? Anywhere Billy wants it to hang. All right, again, we're going to bring a performer to the stage, a 2007 graduate of the Youth Performing Arts School. I believe she has done 4 years of musicals at Trinity. She's choreographed the last 6 years at Trinity. She's currently working at Derby Danner Playhouse, and next year she will have some huge shoes to fill. Yeah. And she's personally one of my favorite performers. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate E. Reedy.
I came to say that he's my dad. Johnny could only sing one note, and the note he sang was this. Sang out with gusto and just overlord the place. Poor Johnny, one note, yelled willy-nilly until he was blue in the face. For holding one note was his ace. Couldn't hear the brass, couldn't hear the drums. He was in a class by himself by gum. Got in Aida, indeed a great chance to be brave. He took his one note, howled like the north wind, brought forth with that made critics rave. While there he turned round in his grave, couldn't hear the flute or the big trombone. Everyone was mute, Johnny stood alone. Cats and dogs started yapping, lions in the zoo all were jealous of Johnny's big drill. Thunderclaps stopped clapping.
See why she's one of my favorite performers. Alrighty, I'd like to bring back to the stage Dr. Mullen. He has another presentation for Mr. Bradford. Dr. Mullen.
Actually, it's going to be your presentation. One of the things that was brought up early on when we started this planning was how do you provide a legacy for what Billy has provided here at Trinity? It's been spoken of quite often. So the committee came up with the idea of, why don't we see if we can't create an endowed scholarship for financial aid in Billy's name to go to a student or students, depending on how large this becomes, who couldn't otherwise come to Trinity without financial assistance. And just so you understand it, if a student, his family would like him to come to Trinity and they can't pay the full tuition, they're welcome to apply for financial aid. It's a very simple process. It's actually determined by an outside company. They look at all the family situation and determine what their need is and let us know based upon our tuition. We have close to 100 of these endowed scholarships. The committee is hopeful that those who want to continue Billy's legacy will consider a gift to this. It's 100% tax deductible. There are envelopes, cards at the tables, on the entrance table there. Gifts of any size would be welcome. What we do is create an endowment. The principal is never spent. The earnings are used to help fund a student attending Trinity. And how remarkable it would be is for years and years to come that we're able to notify a family, your son has an interest and a desire to work in performing arts, and it's possible because of the generosity of others. And by the way, it's named after this fellow who you might not know, but let us tell you about him. So if you can, if you have the wherewithal to do so, please consider a gift to this endowed scholarship. It is a specific, a concrete way to continue Billy's legacy of excellence in the performing arts and all the things that come from it for those who participate and those who enjoy the shows. If you have any questions, please see me afterwards. Again, those cards and envelopes are on the table. You can take it home. It's a postage-paid, self-addressed envelope. Hope that you can help us with this project. Thank you.
What a cool thing. I'd like to bring to the stage now Elliot Harrison Brown. Elliot, you out there? Oh, he's back there? Great. Great. He played the baker in a wonderful production of Into the Woods. He's a 2004 Trinity grad. He sang with the Bach Music Masters. He's got a bachelor's of music and a master's of music. He's in the CCM program, college up in Cincinnati. He's a vocal major. He's an opera singer. He's an actor, currently residing in Kansas City. He sings with the Lyric Opera of Kansas City. He did 7 Trinity shows with Billy. Elliot, let's rock.
All right. So yes, Into the Woods was my first show at, I don't know, I'm sing opera, that was my first. Into the Woods was my first show at Trinity, and The Baker was my first role, and it's really the show that made me fall in love with performing. And so I want to sing something from that on this monumentous occasion. And so though I'm no longer a tenor, though I'm no longer 14, no longer clean shaven, and I'm no longer shy, I will still attempt No More from Into the Woods. No more questions, please. No more tests. Comes the day you say what for, please. No more.
We disappoint, we disappear, we die, but we don't.
What?
They disappoint, turn I fear, give though they won't.
No more riddles. No more jests. No more
farther you run, the more you feel undefined. For what you have left undone, and more what you've left behind. Disappoint me, disappear me, try but we don't. Disappoint, turn, I fear, forget though we won't. Like father, like son. No more giants waging war. Can't we just pursue our lives with our children and our wives till that happy day arrives? How do you ignore all the witches, all the curses, all the woes of the lies, the false hopes, the goodbyes, the reverses, all the wondering what even worse is still in store. All the children, all the giants,
done, Elliot. Thank you. Thank you so much. Last spring, Billy did a musical that he'd waited 20 years to do. I was fortunate enough to help him out a little bit on that one. But we've got some friends that are going to come out and sing to him from that show.
I like you very much indeed. Getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me, getting to know you, putting it my way but nicely. You are precisely my cup of tea. Getting to know you, getting to feel free
Thank you very much, kids, and thank you, Claire, for doing that number. It was very special. At this time, I'd like to bring to the stage Molly Wolfram and her son Jack, who's currently a student at Trinity High School here, for a very special presentation.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight. Mr. Bradford, I have the honor this evening of presenting to you Trinity's creation of a very special trip down memory lane. It's in the form of a 2-volume set of scrapbooks. One covering the first 25 years of Director Bradford, and one covering the second 25 years. Together, the 2 scrapbooks have every show you have directed since 1967, with photos and newspaper articles and yearbook articles and all of your beautiful programs. It is spectacular to see. And Trinity has prepared not one set, but 2. One for Mr. Bradford to keep, and one for Trinity Archives to keep, to preserve your artistry forever. You are a beautiful, very prolific director, and it is a pleasure. It's amazing what you have done with children and young people for 50 years. It is incredible to see. And I welcome you all. We'll give Mr. Bradford the set we have on stage, but there's another set in the back. Find your year. It's in chronological order. Find your play, your musical. It's incredible what you have done. And it's beautiful. Thank you.
Dr. John Wheatley, where are you, sir? It's time for you to come up on stage. Dr. John Wheatley has a few comments and remarks for Mr. Bradford.
Good evening. I'm John Wheatley, and along with Jimmy Bohr, John Berry, and my wife Debbie, we were lucky enough to be in that first class when that tiger of a teacher, William P. Bradford, first exploded on the Louisville education scene in the late 1960s. Just a few words of historical perspective. Yes, there was a pre-Trinity genesis to the man. That South End Bishop David High School takes pride and boasts that BD took that vibrant tiger of a teacher, honed his rough edges, and yielded this sparkling diamond of drama to Trinity. Do you know a persistent undertone of high school rivalry there? Wow. Billy Bradford. I feel so deliciously impious calling him Billy. After 50 years, my wife and I still call him Mr. Bradford, or if we're feeling risque, Mr. B. A force of nature. Once a student experiences the Bradford treatment, Mr. B becomes an iconic figure in his Freudian subconscious, certain to pop up later in his dreams or his nightmares. My wife and I have known and loved the man for 50 years. Mr. Bradford blazed a new path, a groundbreaking role as the first black teacher in an all-white high school in the south end of Louisville in the late 1960s. We didn't get our first black student for several years later. At a time of turmoil, white flight from the West End to the South End, Martin Luther King assassination, Robert Kennedy assassination, Malcolm X assassination, Vietnam tragedy, Vietnam protest, Kent State killings, presidential lies. It was a moral identity crisis, and a generation gap of huge proportions was developing. A few short years later, the busing protest would rock South Louisville, with actually even enrolled KKK members in the middle of Dixie Highway in front of Valley High School. Into this turmoil of the late 1960s blazed William P. Bradford. He was an extremely courageous man who faced down any bigotry and taught his enemies to respect the truth. Even students and staff that did not support him respected him for his passion, his truth, and his fairness. Now, please don't construe my comments as a blanket indictment or judgment against the South End. I love the South End. I've practiced medicine there for 37 years. Grandparents, parents, children, grandchildren, and I love the people. But make no mistake about it, in the late 1960s, the South End was not a bastion of tolerance. But Mr. B took Bishop David by storm, forming his acting troupe, the Bishop's Players, the first National Thespian Society chapter, when the term thespian elicited uneducated chuckles from the student body. We performed Tom Jones, Oedipus Rex, his first musical, The Fantastics, and our senior project, The Tempest. But we all knew that Mr. Bradford was the real Prospero. His South End ragtag band followed him to the Brown to see opera and ballet, two genres very foreign to the South End students, to the Old Actors Theater, a converted railroad station on the river. We even ventured deep into the East End movie conclave, the cinemas on the Bardstown Road, to see The Lion in Winter. But most memorably, he invited us to his home, where we met his beloved mother. We students, at that time of intense idealism, questioning of tradition, unbound energy, we loved our charismatic Mr. B, and were drawn by his tractor beam charm like night flies to a lamp. Mr. B, that relentless drill sergeant of the drama boot camp. Drop and give me 20. Give me the truth. Get rid of the ego. And we, the starry-eyed students, would simply look up and say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" Well, Mr. B left the South End, but he had forever changed it with his love, commitment to truth, and tough, tough compassion. He'll never know all the hearts he touched or all the minds lives he changed. So here tonight, Mr. Bradford is not our weakened lion in winter. His strength and dignity have only increased with age and adversity. It is not goodbye, Mr. Chips, but rather, what is our force of nature going to do next? 50 years later, if there be any opposition or any danger to Mr. B, we students would go anywhere, face any foe, gladly jump up on our desk, or some of us may have to crawl up on our desk, and shout in unison, "We are with you, oh Captain, my Captain." Tonight, our hearts are full. Thanks, Mr. B. And by the way, happy Mother's Day to everybody tomorrow, but especially happy Mother's Day to the beloved mother of William P. Bradford. Without her, none of us would be here tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Weedy. Nicely done. Mr. Bradford, it is now your turn if you have comments you would like to make. It's part of the contract, sorry.
I could tell you what my mother told me.
It's volumes 1 through 7, guys.
This is amazing, and I so appreciate it. What just happened? It was 1967, and suddenly it's 2017. 50 years ago, this past January, I walked into a classroom as a student teacher. 71 of my 74 years, I've been in schools. My parents sent me to school as soon as possible. Because as they said, I began talking very early and would only stop talking and commenting and questioning at very serious commands. My heart is broken. At the end of Shakespeare's The Tempest, you notice that gets mentioned, Prospero, the heartfelt magician, throws his book and his staff into the sea and turns off his creativity. My book has been many scripts. My staff has been the willing trust and talents of the many student actors who have given me the opportunity to create magic on the many stages. The night before I went to teach my first class in August of 1967 at Bishop David, 4 of the priest faculty there took me to a new movie called To Serve with Love. The next morning, I was standing next to my desk when the students began entering, and the first said, "Good morning, sir," and my heart skipped, and it all began. The pain comes at the thought of a student leaving me having not grown intellectually, emotionally, and artistically. Or that an audience member has just endured another, quote, high high school play. I hope I've not wasted anyone's time. I've tried to teach as I was taught. Teach, fulfill, and never exploit. Raise the sights, the goal of all that are entrusted to me. I'd like to ask a couple of representatives of the eras to stand. I'll embarrass them, I know, but it's all right. Jimmy Bohr, stand up, please. Louis Chang, stand up, please. Jimmy was in that first classroom at Bishop David, and Louis was my last leading man here at Trinity High School this semester. They love applause. I'm holding, get hold of it. I'm holding my first director's book from 50 years ago, the Bishop David, and my last one. I had to go to the archives at the Performing Arts School. The director's books of all three schools are being housed in an archive at the Performing Arts School. Few times are we privy to seeing both ends and feeling both ends of any sort of career. So we are very, 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 very appreciative. But I ask forgiveness from all of you for whom I never created work on you, never created work with a student or some older person worthy of your attention or devotion. Please forgive me. Please note that it was all an endeavor with honesty and purity. These are the elements of the soul of the drama. Thanks to all of you who've worked the stages, occupied the seats for an experience, and all who've supported with presence, contribution, and encouragements, and especially all of you who are here this evening. By the way, those commands from my mama and daddy did not stop my curiosity. I still want to know, and I still want to be creative. Thank you very, very much.
Oh, absolutely. Back up, please.
No, you may not say anything else.
I was just handed a note, and I won't read you the note, but I will tell you who the note is from. My third and fourth grade teacher, Sister Marie Saline, who has had nephews who teach here at Trinity High School, sent me a note. She was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman who taught me squarely to present, even as a very young child. And my 7th grade teacher was a nun who had once upon a time been a rockette. She on the stage, beautiful pictures on the stage. Thanks to the Sisters of Charity.
What an incredible evening. Billy, while things were going on, a couple people popped into my mind. Father Ted.
Yes.
Yeah. And Father Durr, who hired you, probably because Ted told him to. Peter Flagg. Yeah. And so many others. There's somebody who's missing tonight who really wants to be here, and he's going to really enjoy this videotape that's been made of it, is Mike Hamilton. You know, Mike is recovering from surgery, and he really desperately wanted to be here, but it made a better decision, so he'll enjoy this, and maybe you all can sit down and relive the whole evening through the videotape. And thanks to our TTV crew who's been here this evening putting this together. How about one more round of applause for all the committee members who put this thing together. There's plenty of food left. There's the guest book to sign if you'd like. Those scrapbooks that Molly put together. She didn't mention it, but she spent hours and hours and hours in our archives putting those books together. They're here. Billy's not going anywhere for a while, so please stay as long as you'd like. Those pledge cards and envelopes for his scholarship are available as well. JC, anything else?
Nope, that'll do it.
Janet? She knew him first, so she gets the last word.
I would like for the kindergartners to come forward who knew him first.
All those who went to kindergarten with Billy,
Stay with us.
Billy's kindergarten classmates, if you could come forward, and the cast of King and I, come back up here, young people. Absolutely.
Check, guys, can we get some lights up in the back, get the house lights?
Thank you all for being here and for you being here. Okay? And there are two people here from his St. Augustine. Would you prefer first grade? Joyce and Edna. Come here.
Made our first communion together.
These two ladies. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.